All right, guys, it's that time of week. Winter Wolf here with compatriots King Z and the Armoress making her second appearance on the channel. Welcome back. We're happy to have you. We're doing the Acolyte because somebody has to do it because we really don't want anybody else to do it. And we figure if we bang it out, maybe nobody else will. And then this show can die the miserable, solitary death that it deserves. Guys and gals, how is it going out there in video land? Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Even though the show sucks, I'm willing to talk to anybody that actually enjoys it. In fact, I think I speak for the three of us. We're more interested in what people have to say on the positive side of the show than we would be on the negative. I mean, at least for me, there's no shortage of negative comments or commentary on the show. So if you guys have anything interesting you want to add to our conversation, feel free to do it below. But with no further ado, besides some quick intros to King Z and the Armoress. Armoress, how are you today? Welcome, welcome.
I am good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you, of course. Thank you for coming back and upgrading the gear on your own dime. It's appreciated. Keep an eye out. We definitely put the check in the mail to reimburse that. No, we didn't.
Night.
And no, we didn't. And King Z, what's good? We see you got some technical difficulties of your own over there today. You're repping your icon from your favorite show.
It's just hot. It's hot here. Things are overheating, to include me. But yeah, I'm okay mostly. It is hot. I think with the heat index, we were 102 today.
That's pretty hot. You know what's not hot though? This show. This show is not hot.
The response is not hot. Because I found some very passionate fans that are defending the show like crazy on those Star Wars fan sites on the book.
Dude, it's the last bastion of Disney shill because even like the mainstream media shills are starting to let this one go. I think the fight's been wrangled out of them.
I saw the best comment today. I'll let y'all two comment on this. It says that all the people who made fun of the people who love Star Wars are now in charge of Star Wars.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's been the case since Disney Plus. That's been the case since just about, I would say, Disney's acquisition. It's been like that for a hot minute. We can apply that to all of these things, all of the things we talk about that we love. Trek, Wars, Doctor Who, Marvel, you name it. It's coming from Warhammer next. It's that's a fact. That's a bona fide fact. 100%. We should have kept the fuck out of all of them. I don't know if that's gonna get us all boned on YouTube. I heard some of those rules changed, but I don't think we're big enough to worry about it. But anyways, Kingsley, if you'd be so kind as to shift us over into our review format, let's go vertical and let's talk about this trash fire of a show. Guys, for me, another do nothing episode. I thought we're going to break it down sequence by sequence as quickly as we can. But this is the opposite of last week's show. That's this show. I think that's it's this show's problem. We get the worst case of untreated ADHD I think I've ever seen in a show. It's like they can't stick to a balanced set of peaks and valleys per episode and ending on a twist or an interesting reveal and then maintain that pace while elevating some stakes for a while in the next one. It's just, here's a chase, here's some talking, here's a chase, here's some talking, here's a chase, here's a big lightsaber battle that's nowhere near as good as Duel of the Fates or Obi-Wan and Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. It's just not. But that's this show. It's mega lows and then bottom of the barrel low. And this week, I think, is the worst. I think this is the most garbage episode since 4, I think, in terms of story.
And with that said, why don't you guys leave a comment on your favorite lightsaber battle you've seen in Star Wars? Give us your top 5. See where it ranks in your top 5.
That's a good point. That's a great add-in. All right, let's get this. Let's get some initial impressions from you guys. Armoress, just overall on episode, what was this, 6? I think it was 6.
6.
You got general take. General take.
There's no meat to it. It's just all bones. There's nothing to it. It's the dialogue is horrendous. The pace is horrendous. It's monotonous. It's like I feel like I watched 30 whatever it was 35 minutes of nothing, of people just having these conversations that don't have ends to them. They're having like these conversations that are A plus B and there's no C at the end. And then of course you've got stuff that happens just because the plot needs it to happen. So the conversations end and that's kind of it. And that it felt like the whole, from beginning to end, was just half a conversation something happens so the plot can happen, half a conversation, and it just kept going and going. And then at the end, it's just, when you think about the actual episode, nothing really happened.
Yep. That's why I said it really reminded me of episode 4, where it's the next day, it's the morning after episode. We got a big thing goes down in 3, and then episode 4, nobody can remember anything that happened other than it was just boring, dull, and people walking around and nothing happened. It's the same thing for this one. Kingsley, what'd you think of 6, just overall?
I think episode 6 was a missed opportunity to put the show back on rails. Overall, I have a lot of notes on things I want to talk about with this episode, more on a technical standpoint than story. Technically, the technical goes with the story. So overall, just it's like, gotta go in, clock into work, watch it, clock out, and then go to bed.
See, what we should have done, though, what you have to do in this situation is you got to call that job to a friend that's like already on the clock to get the buddy punch, get you clocked in about a half hour early, and then you stay a little late because stuff ran long. You get paid a little bit extra. But I think, bad work analogies aside, well, let's get rolling to pull it up in fourth window there, because I'm gonna come in hot right off the bat, because I think one of my big complaints in genre is teleportitis. Right. And we get off to a terrible start in this episode with the worst kind of case of that. We have Osha, because remember everybody from last week that the twins have now switched places after the dramatic haircut that May gave herself. Osha is with Smilo Ren on Not Octo. We'll talk about that in a minute. And she spends literally, like, if we follow the timeline at the bottom, she wakes up from her kidnapping and spends 4 minutes not saying a word, but following him to a pool, like a tide pool on a beach or lagoon or whatever, where he goes nude swimming. And we'll talk about that also, because I have a point to make there later. So we waste 4 minutes doing that. And when that's done, we finally get our first look at, and this is the point, we get our first look at Saul and May, because again, twins have reversed locations and roles. And he's just now taking off of Kofar and leaving. So in the time it took Smilo Ren and Osha to leave Kofar and get to Not Octo, have a little sleepover, she's getting her rest, he's cooking lunch, doing his laundry, taking a bath, and these jackasses are just now getting on a ship to go. Like, time has no... I find that this is like late season Game of Thrones annoying. Like, if time and distance have no meaning, there really can never be the ticking time bomb you need, especially as you get into the third act of these episodes 6, 7, and 8. Like, this is where shit starts to have to pop off. Things have to keep moving. But imagine wasting 4 minutes at the front of a show to do nothing. Again, no emoting from this actress. I'm out on her as a side note. Like, I like her range. Like, we give Brie Larson some shit for her Captain Marvel nonsense. This chick's got it worse by 5, in my opinion. But you guys have anything on just the opening to the episode? Anything you guys want to throw out, piggyback on my points or not? Run with it. I'm good for a minute.
Yeah, she had a drink of water. She put her clothes on, somebody else's clothes. She had to walk on the beach. It was pretty relaxing.
New Zealand looks nice. Kingsley?
The most relaxed kidnap victim I've ever seen. But here's the thing I wanted to show here with the technical. And
he's seen
here.
A couple, ladies and gentlemen. He's seen a couple. He's got an alibi.
So this scene right here, I'm trying to play it out real quick. You're going to see here. So that movement there is called a reverse Dutch tilt. Yep. It's a way to portray suspense and stuff like that. This is a very poor use of it. I want to point out the technical part of it. I mean, because they're trying to do something instead of just being over her with the the overhead and then cut to that scene, this shot right here. They try to do something. I think it was a poor timing with it. I mean, it didn't add what you needed for it to add, especially that you see that she is safe. She's in an open environment. A lot of times it's used in horror movies when you have a big reveal of a ghost or something like that, like over the body. You would use the Dutch tilt, and that's exactly what it's called. Just in case anyone was wondering, I'm here to educate.
Yeah, some film school stuff. Yep. film school stuff employed not correctly. King Z is our specialist in that department, of course. I did run me forward. Let's just skip. I think we get to, there's a little bit of a bit what they want for another big reveal right there, exactly that moment. Let's just get that up on the screen. She's kind of coming out of the tunnel, and then big surprise, she's not on Kofar. She's on an island that totally isn't Octo.
There we go.
Yeah, there it is. The Armoress called that giant penis rock earlier, which was hilarious. But again, this moment falls flat for me because I don't care that she's somewhere else. We knew she was going to wake up somewhere else. Like it's, and again, it looks like she's in a damn beach resort. It's not intimidating. Like it's beautiful. Look at this. I could hang out there for a week and write a book. I got no problem with that. You know, so like, who do I care if she's somewhere else that looks nice? She's not restrained. She's not drugged. She obviously hasn't been tortured, beaten, mistreated. So I don't know. I that was silliness. And if you can get back on your timeline there real quick, just get ahead. You don't have to don't move the feed. But if you just want to look down at the time slider, King Z, like look at how far into the episode that moment is where she's out of the rock already. Like look how much time they've burned show wise to get there with nothing, to show me she's in a different location. Like who cares?
Like, no, I don't think there's any dialogue.
You guys don't have time to burn.
No dialogue.
Not a word, because she hasn't even seen the guy yet.
And also no words on screen to describe where the location is.
Right. I believe it just said unknown planet. There was a frame in there briefly that said unknown planet because that came
I think that's when they go back.
It's totally Octo. Okay, it's in the second establishing shot later. I know it came up at least once. I just didn't remember where. Okay, that's cool. So it's definitely not Octo. That's
about 2 minutes. About 2 minutes.
Right. To tell me nothing, because then if you punch forward, and we're just gonna butcher this as we go. Like punch forward a couple of minutes.
See,
to
there
the
it
where
is.
She's there it is. Unknown planet. Yeah, there it is.
That's after they do the Acolyte title screen,
after the intro, right? Yeah. Yep. So punch forward on the timeline to where she's spying on him. Yes, must have been. So she creeps on this dude. She's creeping on Smilo Ren, who looks like a dude again on vacation. He's got a backpack. He's walking barefoot on the rocks. He's going to like a little private lagoon. There he is. Hey, Smilo. Hey, buddy. He's gonna take in a little bath in a saltwater lagoon. He's hanging out. Dude, keep punching. Still, we got there's just music, right? You can pause it there for a minute because that's a different planet. So again, we've wasted all this time, and it's just these two jackwads on vacation on not Octo. Like honestly, we've done nothing. Nobody's under any kind of stress. There's no danger. There's zero tension here because it's not like she slipped a couple of cuffs and now she's legit stalking him. She took the throwing knife out of May's bag, but like who cares? We just saw this dude Merc 8 Jedi Knight an hour ago. I feel no danger for him either. Incidentally, as the guy that doesn't know he's being followed yet.
He knows.
So I had this. So I have flatline tension already.
You could tell by the way that he was portraying it that he knew. He was trying to he was letting her. Yeah, like the whole thing was a setup for her to follow.
I think he did, but I don't think that came out through him. I think I just knew that in the story because logically, why would you leave a kidnapped victim unrestrained if you meant not to have that?
Well,
you know what I mean?
There's 2 times where he does one of those numbers.
Does he look back?
Especially when he's in the pool. It was minute. It was very minute.
Okay, in the pool, yes, but I think on the stroll too, I might have missed that. But either which way, it's a no tension anything. Yeah, I mean, even as far as if they're trying to do the Raylo shipping nonsense that I'm seeing on Reddit now, where they're trying to do the fake love connection between these two. There wasn't anything coy. There wasn't anything come hither about him trying to get her to follow until literally they start talking at the lagoon. Where, she rolls up on him. This dude, again, for the second time in the show, for a progressive show that tells me that objectifying people's bodies is wrong and the male gaze is wrong, we got yet another jack dude in a position where he's vulnerable and butt-ass naked for Star Wars. So I just thought I'd point that out.
They could be twisting it to like a Stockholm syndrome thing where like now she's in control.
Maybe, but I don't know. I don't give him any kind of credit for having any level of understanding for that. I just think it's hilarious that we have the lead of the show, Amanda Stenberg, who is objectively an attractive woman. Objectively, like if you've seen any of these pictures of her on like the red carpet, she's gorgeous. She is. That's just how that is. We know that Daphne Keene, who plays X-23 in Logan, is an attractive young woman. You'd never know that by looking at either of them in this show. But we can make Yord VPN Broken Neck Jedi 8-pack and shirtless for 15 minutes in that scene, and then this dude goes a step further into like Thor Love and Thunder territory where he's in a weakened power position, butt ass naked, trying to just get his bath on. But it's cool if it's the guys. It's cool if we do that. You know, you can't see a titty anywhere, but you put a butt up there though. Give the ladies them chests and 6-packs. I just find that shit annoying because it's as hypocritical as the other nonsense we get about always portraying one person as one kind of thing. And I just like to see that go away. It's why better shows like Andor are the better shows, because they don't take shots at anybody consistently like that. But you want to pull the timeline back up, and I'll let you guys have at the Kofar bit, because I thought this shit was obnoxious. Armoress, you want to walk us through what happened on Kofar if any of your notes pertain? I thought this was equally as stupid.
This is when they're trying to leave.
This is when Saul's finally getting his ass onto the ship, even though we saw him on the ship at the end of last episode. So his ass should have already been moving.
Yeah, he's trying to get out of there, and the ship is malfunctioning, and supposedly she's fixing it, but she's supposedly was only fixing what she wanted to, and the communication device wasn't working properly to the point where, you know, it worked for the plot, I guess you could say.
Right.
It
they didn't take any
out.
laser hits or anything. You know, the ship was in perfect working order an hour and a half ago.
Yeah. What I did think was funny was I was again, I'm always like going back to old school Star Wars and thinking about things that were done. And you know, I'm always comparing in my head, and it was funny. It was like Saul, you know, picks her up and it seems, or at least he's acting like it seems he doesn't know that you know, May and Osha swapped. And now I'm thinking about, I mean, like, you know what? They both use the Force. You know, Leia and Luke use the Force, and they could like sense each other across the galaxy. And now you have them on the same. And now you have them, these two who are, one was what, the teacher, and one was the Padawan, and
yeah.
They can't. They both use the Force, and they can't sense each other and who each other is. That didn't seem to make it much sense to me.
It's terrible. It's a terrible sequence because it's one more example, and I know King Z probably has some thoughts about it because we've differed on our interpretations of what we wanted to see the Jedi be. But for me, it's one more shot at them as a character class in this world where, like, you can't attain the rank of master and then in the second breath tell me you wouldn't recognize the unique presence of your Padawan or lack thereof. And then beyond that, you didn't see the tattoo on her forehead. And then beyond that, you didn't notice that she doesn't have the same tattoo on her upper arm that Osha has. It's just stupid. Armoress, that's like you said. Shit happens in this episode because they need to keep this as tight to A to B to C as they can, because I think they lack the intelligence, and not just the runtime. I legit think they lack the intelligence to think through all the permutations of the actions these characters could be taking. So they default to the easiest, like, grade school, grade 1 explanation for what they do. I want to get King Z's take on Jedi being completely ineffective in this show.
Well, you totally missed the whole bad part of this thing too. I mean, let's.
I wasn't done. I had more, but you hit it. You get it.
Where's it at? I'm trying to find it. I think it's right here. Let's play this out real quick. All right, there's our good friend Basil.
Basil.
Okay, this is where she sneaks
hold on. Wait. I just wanted to say, attention Acolyte showrunners and writers, fantasynamegenerator.com. Use it. Right. Continue.
So you have him here making a holographic message that gets a little bit out. And the first thing he doesn't say is, you know, like, he's very calm. He's very collected. I can understand being a little mentally distraught, but he's a Jedi. This isn't the first time he's seen people die. It ain't the first time he's seen Jedi die. And he's distraught. And the first thing he doesn't say is that we have a Sith. because the guy used the name Sith, even though technically he probably isn't a Sith, but he used the name because the way he referred to it is like what you would refer to me is a Sith.
That's how the defenders are getting around it. Yeah, but I agree with you. Correct.
But like,
first thing you should have was that
first thing I would say, as soon as I have connection, we have a level 1.
Sith
we
confirmed.
have Sith confirmed. Let's get we need the paddy wagon. Let's load up and let's roll out. No, but the part that I was pointing out was like, if you notice what she was climbing up. Let me go back. If I just go back to like a frame.
Are you about to deep cut on like ship engineering, dude?
No. Watch her. She's walk. Oh no! Wow! I really cut it now.
Come on, dude. Use the pointer.
I am using the pointer. Okay, here we go. There we go.
Yep, that's the hollow call. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So you have her down here, and she sees the same. She's having her own flashback at this point. But here, so we already saw this Basil part. But watch her. She comes up.
Basil knows she's there and knows it's not the right person.
Right there in her hand, she has a blade. So she's going to try to kill him. But then the rest of the time, she's either helping or just want to talk. So if you're going to kill him now, but you want to have dialogue with him, with a Force user, this made zero sense. I mean, this part here makes no sense whatsoever.
Dude,
like he didn't.
King Z.
He had a knife.
It's plot. He didn't sense her, period. But I think this lends into King Z's larger point, right? This show is an exercise in stupid motivations that just flip-flop on a dime. By this point in the show, how many times has May decided she didn't want to do the kill list, that she did want to be with her sister, that she now wants to kill Saul again for what? Not force catching her when she fell down the giant flaming chasm in episode 3 when she was 10. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why people are the way they are on this show. And we can say the same shit about Saul at the end of the episode. We'll say the same shit about Osha in about 10 minutes when we try to figure her dumb ass out. Like, what's her motivation for the ending that we get for her? We'll talk about that down the stretch. But like, you're exactly right, King Z. Like, you've got this guy dead to rights, as dead to rights as you have a chance to kill this dude. And what? For what? Like, what's the point? You've abandoned evil Sith guy. Like, what do you think your mission is at this point?
She keeps going back on her motivation because the Sith guy was, I have my theory on who he is. Like, it'd be a really cool thing if they actually did this, but we'll hold
that for the end for sure. Yeah. We should wrap on that, I think, because I think.
Why don't you guys drop in the comments who you think Smilo Ren really is in Star Wars lore? Let me throw that part in there too. Yep. So you have here, and he's having convenient comms issues. She could have done it. She couldn't have done it. But I mean, if technically if it's her doing it, why didn't you just completely disable the ship?
Right.
As well, instead of just, making necessary, like very minor, minute, something that just by rebooting the system made it better.
Right. He unplugged the router and solved it. But I can't get over the comms part either, man. Like, I don't get it. Like you said, if you knew you had a spotty transmission, I'm done with emergency calls. I'm being like, Sith confirmed. Bro, your boss knows where you are. She sent you. She comes later in the episode, which is its own dumb shit that we'll talk about, of course. But like, the only thing you need to say, like King Z was saying, was, hey, this is the threat. That's it. Like, the we're dead, the emergency code 0, whatever the fuck it was. Like, none of that matters. Sith confirmed, Kofar. Done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quickly becoming the whole thing with we'll see later when the other Jedi is that this becomes a big CYA type operation at that point.
Yeah, clean up for sure. And I agree, because I like the part where at least the green chick acknowledges we need to get the bodies like prep for burial, like collect them up. So it's basically like they're addressing that Saul basically ditched them all at the end of the last episode, but now I was definitely getting like wet work CIA vibes of like leave no traces. This shit went down. We had no involvement. We were never here. Thing. But let's keep this moving. Let's go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Armoress, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, think about the times that Han Solo used a comm system. Right. He got his point across.
Same. The only time it was ever done, the only time he ever was on it long was for comic relief in a New Hope. Where it's like, oh, it's a large reactor leak, very dangerous. Who is this? What's your operating number? Like, yeah, there was a reason
fine. How are you?
Right, yeah, things are fine. Who is this? I love that. But like that was a whole setup into the next action scene, which was exciting. You know what I mean? Like it built to that. Here, like you said, it's like we had internet issues getting the stream the video running today. Like that's not entertaining for anybody. It wasn't entertaining for us. Like the hell. You know, like it's all contrivance and just and bad flow for me here. Let's roll that slider forward though, not to get bogged down too early, because I want to rip right through some of the rest of the stuff. Give me the next big sequence of events. They talk, yada yada, don't care. Stop there.
Yeah, we got the Basil scene where he reboots Pip.
Right. So Basil doing Basil stuff, and make sure we cut that after like 5 seconds just to not have him strike anything there. So Basil, number one, I think this is a dumber character than Jar Jar. I hate it. I think it's stupid. I hate the way he moves. I hate his stupid little dance that comes up later, which is the dumbest shit I've seen in Star Wars, I think. Ridiculous. But like this dude is what they called a master tracker, right? He has the scent of each of the twins. He knows Saul is alive. He got back to the ship first. Why on earth was he not waiting for Saul at the ramp being like, shoot that chick, shoot her? But no, we had to spy versus spy. He had to try to restart the Pip Boy, and then funny dance, and then kick May in the shin and hump her leg, and then the Pip Boy hits her with a money shot to the face. Which, I mean, all right, if that's your thing in a Star Wars show. I mean, they got dudes that they got space lesbians. What's a money shot between friends in a galaxy far, far away? I don't know, but I hate that fucking character, guys. Does anybody here want to stick up for Basil and for any of this nonsense? Armoress, take him first.
The question is, when they were originally giving him the scent to find May, like they obviously had communicated with him somehow, some way, that he knew what was going on.
It was Yord. Yord is the one who had to communicate with him.
Right, he uniquely spoke the language. But dude, you could still fucking just point at her and act freaked out, and a Jedi should have some intuition and be all like, whoop, you know what I mean? And get to step in with some of that Jedi mind reading. But no, because nobody remembers they have powers. It's like they use their powers once at the beginning of the boss battle, and now they're on cooldown for 3 minutes. So they can't use them again. I fucking hate them. King Z, thoughts on that character at all?
He's low on mana. You know, you have to wait for the mana regeneration.
He needs the blue potion or whatever.
The blue potion.
I can't justify this garbage. I can't justify this garbage. It looks silly. Yeah, but Wicked would kick his ass. That's the thing. An Ewok would break out the flint spear and murk this thing. This dude walks around. Nobody kills him. Nobody punts him. Nothing. And they've all everybody's had a chance to take a shot at him. You know, like it's just stupid. I'm just tired of stupid shit. Like you get away with like 1 or 2 contrivances that absolutely have to happen, or the whole thing doesn't work. But you can't have one an episode. You just can't. And you certainly definitely can't if you've got, like, how many people do we think wrote this garbage? Like, how many people you think are in the writer's room for this? It's not just Leslie Headland. It's got a different writer, as the Armoress pointed out, through like the first 4, I think. So, I mean, I don't know. Nobody can catch this stuff. Nobody can creatively brainstorm a way out.
You do remember that she said that she hired people who didn't know Star Wars. She did that on purpose.
Dude, cardinal sin in and of itself, but I would imagine she still hired writers and not drop out Monday night waitresses from like flingers or shenanigans. You know, like they should still have an understanding of the craft, hypothetically, right? Like, can we not have anybody here that's got anything specifically?
It's all specifically fanfic, right? Didn't she just pick all this stuff off a website? That's what it seems like.
I have no idea how she hired anybody. This is allegedly her original concept. There was a story that was adapted into a Star Wars story, and then allegedly on Kathleen Kennedy's direction to Leslie Headland, per Leslie Headland herself, make it a you story, with the implication obviously being that it involved more authentic queer themes and stuff like that. So that's what Star Wars needed. Was
the staff writer and one of the writers is the writer who was on Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Shocking. You've got to do better, Senator. Yeah, that's what we needed.
One of them is a writer from House of Dragon.
Shocking, and probably the 8th person in that room.
Let's see. This one is a writer for Mr. Robot.
I've heard okay things about that. So at least that's
It's
a
a good show.
sci-fi connection. Yeah, I've heard good things. I've heard good things. All right, so maybe some of the, but dude, then is that not, does that not just make my point more infuriating then? If they have that kind of resume or pedigree.
Draft. It was probably their first draft, and then it gets chopped into a billion pieces.
Well, yeah. So to get a writing credit, you actually have to have the last version that was written of them streaming. Like, say I wrote something and I sold, and they start, and then they hire someone else to do the rewrite. They get the writing credit. I just get the paycheck. I don't get the writing.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. If anybody's looking to hire us out, we're definitely okay with that, both of us. And also the Armoress, if she wants to get in on that action. But still,
yeah, unless it's in the contract when you sign it. Like, I worked on a film where I kind of did the first draft. Me and my buddy, we were coming up with an idea. We handed it off. Then 2 other people wrote it. I still got a contributing writer credit on there because it was in the paperwork they had me sign.
Yep, which is cool. But again, I think that just makes it more annoying to me that these are people that have established credits that are valid, like as you just like quantifiably indicated how they get assigned, and this is still the garbage we come up with. And that can only lead me to believe that Leslie Headland, who did what was the name of the show she did? Russian Dolls, I think was the other show she did.
Yeah,
like beyond that show, she just doesn't have connection.
Now she's the primary writer on most of these episodes.
Oh, because that's what I was saying, that she pitched this idea and brought these other people. And a room full of grown adults should be able to work through an 8-episode series that's only 35 minutes long on average with minimal plot contrivances. Just figure it out, guys. I'm sorry, just figure it out.
So actually, they have 2 writers from the House of Dragon. One just wrote 1 episode. One wrote 8 episodes.
Interesting. Okay. All right, pull up that timeline. Let's move this along. We got to get past Basil and then get into the nonsense, because I think
I do want to say that Basil really like Jar Jar Binks because he is supposed to provide the comic relief. But it's poor timing.
Embarrassing.
But it's also poor timing with the comic relief. I mean, if you want to talk about the scene, let's see. Where he traps her, he does something to the power to get her by herself instead of get Soul down there to tell him what's going on, and then he does his little fight dance right here, what we've talked about.
Dude, no, please don't roll it back. I really don't want to.
You brought it up, so we're gonna watch it. So first you see Pit
so
there,
stupid,
and he does his little fight dance.
Dude, it's Willow. It's straight up the Willow series. Dude, they're gonna tank this show and throw it in the fucking vault.
So
look at this garbage.
And then he takes a flashlight and run, leaving Pit behind. Pite shoots something in her face because he has control, like an R2 unit. Yeah. And then what that gets, I hit the button again.
So the Force trained Jedi was taken down by a foot stomp.
Right. Exactly. She had murdered, 2 masters too, by the way. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. She killed Darth Trinity. Damn it! I did it again. Darth Trinity, Jedi Trinity. But yeah, she was defeated by fake Wicket and fake R2D2. Like, no, stop it.
But the other thing is that Pit is Osha's bot, like her best friend.
Yes.
Like the way and because of his actions, got him erased and set back to default.
Right. Which again,
that was quite easy, by the way. From Control Alt Delete 5.
Dude, no, it was worse. It was worse than Armoress. It was they had an Android phone. She held down on the volume and the side button,
and then held the power button, counted to 10, and then back to default.
She did the cycle and shut it down, and that also defaulted. I can't with this fucking show. This is literally what happens when you let people that don't have experience or knowledge of the IP write this kind of shit. They literally default to what they know. They're the epitome of write what you know. Oh, when my droid breaks, you know what I do? Hurt it. Like, no, stop it.
A droid is not a phone.
Right, in a galaxy far, far away, it's not. Dude, did you just bring us all the way back to the swimming scene?
I did.
I recognize the outfit. Okay.
Because I want to point out one thing about this. This is a good. Like here with her blade again. What's up with these sisters and their blades thinking they can stop people with force powers? But anyways, So you have this. This is the definition of a good actor carrying a scene, because he is a very powerful presence, and he took this role very seriously. You can definitely tell by the way he delivers his dialogue, the way he has his body language when he says certain things. Like, he's doing the best he can with what he was given. But this is this is a textbook scene of a strong actor carrying a scene with someone who doesn't know the craft.
I just wanted to only add to that. I think he's been the only pleasant surprise in the show. I think when this show got off to the start it got off to, I think people were all about Jedi Squid Game from the guy that was the lead character in Squid Game. People, oh, he's doing great. He learned enough English to play the role and this and that, and he's carrying. His character has taken such a dog shit turn in the writing that I don't think the poor guy can elevate it any higher to the point you just said. And I think Smilo Ren's character, Manny Jacinto, kind of he's now carrying these last couple of episodes where at least comparatively to everybody else who's so bad, he's doing really well. But I guess he's got a lot of fans from a show called The Good Place. He's a known quantity in fandom. I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. I thought this dude was a nobody that had the worst written character in the first few episodes as the Potion Master. I thought that character was terrible. This more serial killer, scream slasher, head tilting, slow, better for sure.
And also the way he portrayed the character he was at the very beginning, where he was like the drunken master, apothecary. He was totally different.
Just cringe. Yeah, it was good for him, but it was cringe for me because I didn't like how they wrote the drunken master in that set. It was just cringy. Let's get the Armoress's take on Smilo Ren in this scene down for as the female perspective on the show. Is this creepy shit? Is that a weird power dynamic? Because if roles were reversed and it was him rolling up on her, nude and bathing in the lagoon, like there would obviously be a certain level of tension and implied violence that's going on. What's your read just on this scene all around, however you want to attack the subject?
No, I think you're exactly right. I think if it was written the other way, there'd be issues, and I think they wrote it specifically like this so that it was putting the male in a more vulnerable position and putting the female in a more powerful position. She's standing there, she's clothed, she's got a knife, he's naked, he's got no weapon. And then she also gets his saber as well. So I think it was specifically written to show that, look, there's our powerful female character and a weak male character. I think it was written just like that.
Now, let me ask you a follow-up question to that effect then. Were you now, based on what they've shown us in their show, how they've written all these characters, did you find him in any peril at all in these circumstances?
Can you say that again? You kind of cut out a little bit.
So I picked that up on my side as well. I was saying how they've written their own show and defined their own characters. Did you feel he was in any danger at any point in this scene?
No, and not the way that he acts it out. I didn't think he was at all. Not the way that he acts. He's very he does. His other character, like you had mentioned in the beginning, was a terrible character. The drunk apothecary guy, version, and this Potion Master, and this guy, he comes off very, very. His confidence is what gives him away, and she's still showing that she. And it's tough too with her because there's nothing going on upstairs. She's so flat. Her affect is so flat with everything. No matter what the tension may or may not be in the scene, there's no emotion coming from her. So it's hard to see her as someone who is going to be intimidating because she can't do that. She can't portray intimidating. And all he has to do is stand there naked and he's intimidating.
But to both of those points, we get a semi flash of her, I guess, emoting at the end when she does finally let it go a little bit. But in this moment here, this dude's standing bare ass on a beach, hanging wang, and there was no doubt in my mind he could have pushed her against a boulder and crushed her. And that'd have been the end of that character. There was no doubt in my mind at any given minute he could have ended her. And I just don't think the power dynamic reads the opposite way. Right. Like I just don't I don't feel anything for these characters because they've all been written to be stupid and overpowered when it's convenient to be either of those things. So
and also, if you look at the scene if you rewatch the scene I just played, I got the next one queued up, so I'm not going to pull it back up. But you saw she gave the look down. She gave the look.
Yeah, she did. Dude, and again, if it were 2005 and everything was just being played fairly in media, I wouldn't care, and that would have been funny. But we've been robbed of those kind of character beats where people are allowed to be human and be attracted to attracted people for the last decade in our media. We're not allowed to have that two-way street in media anymore. It only kind of works that one way now. Where you, like the one I go to is always Thor: Love and Thunder. Like, you can chain Thor to the ground, at in Zeus's temple and make a spectacle of him. But you can absolutely not put people to this day are now rioting over Scarlett Johansson in the Iron Man 2 black dress, or the red dress, and then the black dress from Avengers. Like, people, there are people retroactively butthurt that she was objectified in those outfits, despite the fact that she kicked ass both times. Not the dress, the spy suit, which she did the wire fu and the Hurricane Rana neck takedown on the one guy. Yeah, people are butthurt about that to this day, but it's okay. Apparently, as long as there's a rainbow flag involved, you can get away with having this stuff, which is weird because isn't OSHA into?
Oh, she's dead.
Or whatever. She doing the buy thing, dude. That was some morbid shit. We have to actually, we're gonna spend 5 seconds on that later. But cue up the let's get into the next scene. Keep it moving. Let's keep this train going. Oh Jesus! I forgot this part even happened on the show. So, if memory serves, because I was going to watch this episode again, but then I watched something better today. I'm watching Supernatural now, and I couldn't be bothered to watch this garbage again. So, Green Chick got half of the message from her administrative assistant Jedi, Mog.
No, that's actually that's a senator.
It was a senator she was talking to, but I'm saying her administrative assistant comes in and says, "Hey, we got word from Saul."
Oh yeah, the other white guy on the show.
Yeah. No. So again, fantasynamegenerator.com. Show writers, please. Mog is a stupid name. It's dumb for this.
As soon as I saw him, I immediately cringed.
Yeah, because you knew exactly how he was going to sound. It's sad that certain stereotypes hurt and things are true, but like, she basically finds out, hey, Saul's team is down. We think there's a problem. She's like, we're going to roll out. She puts together people that they head out fairly quickly. I don't care. It's stupid. I don't get why she would lead the team herself other than to get there and maybe cover up some stuff like they maybe do, which is fine. But again, we're introduced to more characters late in the show. This chick can't act to save her life. This is definitely a Nepo hire on Leslie Headland's part. I don't know. Yeah. Like, I got nothing to say about.
So is this guy a Jedi?
Yes,
he's a Jedi.
She calls him. I think she even calls him Master. She called him Master Mog.
No, it wasn't Master. He's just a knight. I believe he's just a knight.
Okay, he's an administrative assistant, is what he is. They have that too. The Jedi have a bureaucracy in the Order. They need it
because he doesn't portray any characteristics of a Jedi at all.
He's just wearing a costume. He's a dude wearing a costume.
He's afraid of his own shadow in this episode.
He does. He comes across as very, very unsure of himself. Very, I don't know what we're gonna do. Like, maybe we shouldn't do that. And when they get to Kofar, he's like, oh, they may have all died due to like the uncharted terrain. And I'm like, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard somebody say. That's fucking stupid. Like, please stop. Please stop saying stupid things here. All right. Somebody remind me what am I looking at now? Because I honestly don't remember this block.
So we're back in the cave, and this is where he reveals that there's other ways to use the Force other than what the Jedi teach you.
Okay. So for me, and let's get the Armoress's take on this, because she may have some interesting stuff on this one here. I think the only thing interesting left on this show, I don't care what happened to the witches. Honestly, I don't. I think if this guy wants to do the gray Jedi stuff and kind of seduce her to walking a more ambiguous lifestyle, maybe there's some interesting stuff there. I think he could carry off that story in, like, season 1 of a 10-episode show like Game of Thrones that then builds on stuff for later. But I don't think she has the chops to do the whole. She can barely play one character, let alone twins, and let alone conflicted twins that each have a light side, dark side crisis going on. Like, are you at all interested in these people switching roles? Do you think they can pull it off? Like, what do you think of that whole concept of just being morally ambiguous within the Force?
as far pertaining specifically to May or specifically to
OSHA, because she's the one with Smilo Ren right now. Yeah, let's keep it to that.
Am I interested in them switching sides? They're still going to be the same character in my head. I mean, they haven't. They're the same character now. I don't think it would make much of a difference if they switch sides. They're still probably going to act the exact same way. I have a note for something else, but I think we're going to get to it. But am I curious? No, not at all. I'm not curious to see what happens.
Okay. And then King Z, let me give you a variation on that question then. Flip it to Smilo Ren. Given that you've already kind of sung this actor's praises a little bit, do you want them to, over the next 3? They only got 2 episodes to go. We don't know what the run times are. How much more time, and do you think they're capable of using that time and pulling off a legitimate, interesting, philosophical look at his viewpoint on being outside the law of the Jedi? I guess he's got the whole libertarian outlook in certain ways, but he's willing to kill people. So no, he's still the bad guy, right?
Yeah, and I think the way they written him so far, that they're wasting what could be a very interesting bad guy. I think Magneto in X-Men type interesting bad guy. That's kind of what they're wasting right here with the poor writing. But if they could try to switch it in the next 2 episodes, they could make it a very interesting gray character that has a established way of being gray in the Star Wars lore. And do you know who that is? I'll give you 3 guesses. Both of you, go ahead. Who could
established
he be?
gray?
Yeah, established gray character.
Dude, I don't know, man. Admittedly, I don't have a big cut into a lot of the EU stuff. So I will sacrifice, in the name of brevity, my 3 guesses. But if the Armoress wants to take a poke, I'll let her take a poke. I don't know what you've read for comics and novels or anything.
No. See, I didn't see Clone Wars and any other comics or anything like that. I'm just kind of an original Star Wars, the first 3 fan. So that's really all my opinions based off of. Could I give a guess? No, I couldn't at this point.
Kingsley, just lay it on us. Who do you think he is, if that's where you're going with that?
So they've hinted at a few things based on music choices, definitely in the last episode, because they played a certain theme. This could be Ren.
Yep.
Because it's the Knights of Ren. This could be Ren. Yeah.
This could play Kylo's theme. Yeah, I've seen that around. True. Yeah, I mean, Dan, you know what? I got to give these guys a screw you, because I think a lot of people wanted that in Force Awakens, and like the pre-movie, like the media blitz, like people were interested in those characters. And then, contrarily speaking, this show, when it was being marketed ahead of launch, people told us this was an original story. People told us this had no connection to the larger framework, that it wasn't going to damage canon, that it wasn't going to connect in any kind of way, because it was set in the High Republic, which is a uniquely newish publication of things. And if they connect them via Ren, it's just one more thing they walk back.
No, this is straight Captain Phillips of canon. Look at me. Yeah, I am the canon.
I am the canon now. Yeah. No. Fuck this show, dude. I can't stand the show. I think your point about Magneto is great. This character from minute 1, if he was part of the Coven and he watched all of his mothers get murdered, he could have had a Magneto with Charles Xavier as Saul, never again Charles kind of moment. They don't have the gravitas to pull off something like that. Dude, that shit chills your blood when Magneto says that in print, let alone when you get a talented actor on screen to say that kind of stuff. They don't have it in to pull that kind of thing off. But a little bit more on this character, though. When he reveals to OSHA a little bit about his backstory, we get another tropey piece of little bullshit where, of course, he's the misunderstood bad guy. He was thrown away. He's damaged. I have to live outside the law and outside of the Jedi's rules because of these awful things that happen to me, even though I want the power of 2. You notice they didn't say the rule of 2. They hit you with the power of 2.
The power.
And then maybe there is that Coven.
So they're trying to hint at why, which they said in the Phantom Menace, that if there's one, there's always another
rule of 2,
because it's a master and a pupil,
master and apprentice, right? But like, did you see when he pulled up the shirt though? We saw it on the beach also. He's got a couple of jagged ass scars on his back. If I didn't know better, I'd say they look like lightsaber whip, or would that cut you in half? Because we did see the stupid lightsaber whip in this episode when Green Chick shows up. Let's get the Armoress's take on that. Are you in or out on lightsaber whips as a phenomenon? There's the laugh. There it is.
My nickname for that is the limp saber.
Oh God, yeah, dude. Because it's like the old man's lightsaber on the Family Guy parodies. Like when Herbert breaks out the lightsaber, it's like, like that's exactly what it is. And it's so stupid, and it looked bad. Like the hilt looked bad. It looked like I don't even know what it looked like.
The whole execution of it from beginning to end was just terrible.
And that's all you're gonna see of it. Like I don't think she breaks that out in combat at all. They had her flick it once to kill one of those stupid moth things, and that's it. Like they just had to, that was part of the sizzle reel for the show. That was sizzle, not scissor. Sizzle.
And it was purple, which totally decanons
yes.
news.
Yes. Again, nothing can be unique or special in this world. They got an A-list Hollywood celebrity to be in the fucking prequels. And the only thing this dude asked for besides like the paycheck was, bro, just give me a purple one. It'd be cool. I'm a bad motherfucker. Give me the purple one.
Then they justified it in lore a really great way, saying that he was the only Jedi in history to come close to the Sith fighting style. That's why he had the purple lightsaber.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did hear that because purple obviously is a mix of red and blue. So there was like a work in. Cool. See that kind of explanation of canon I'm with. Like that's cool. But all right, so now there's two purple ones. Okay, now there's more than one. Force Immaculate Conception. Okay, now fucking Poe killed an even bigger Death Star. Okay, Rey has fucking powers of Luke and Leia, but I don't know. I don't give fuck them. Fuck all of Disney Star Wars anyway. So the only other thing I really want to talk about on this episode before we do predictions, right? The last scene, I laughed out loud. It was so awful in my opinion, right? He basically, Smilo Ren basically lays the speech on Osha about, more or less, not to quote it, be who you're going to be. There's a world out there without rules, yada, yada, all that nonsense, pseudo intellectual, matrix level, philosophical villain speak that a good bad guy would give you to seduce you into the light, into the dark, right?
Yeah.
For his light.
The dark side speech.
But not like not the fear and anger speech, like the one to scare you into like the actual seduction speech. To let you know, you could have a place here. We could rule the galaxy together. Yeah, like that one. You know what I mean? But like low key because he's
galaxy
crunch, right? Have you guys seen the dub of that scene with Luke and Vader, where in Empire, where Vader's landed on him, but they dub out and they use the Vader voice mod to do the power of one, the power of two,
no, not yet.
the power of many, and if Luke goes, no, dude, it's fucking hilarious. We should probably we gotta find that and put it in. It's really funny. Credit to whoever did it. It's funny.
Yeah, you should cut out to that part where he goes no, and where he just falls off.
Dude, that's what that and the credits, because that should have been this whole show. But so Smilo Ren lays the speech on her, and then he fucks off again because like he's cool with this chick just living in his house, I guess, eating his food. He told her where the ship was parked. For some reason, you had to swim a mile in like low tide to get to the ship. That was kind of dumb from the beginning when he was just like, yeah, you can just take my ride and go. But he leaves the Smilo Ren helmet on the desk that he's working on. He's kind of touching it up. He actually says Cortosis by name. So I'm equally impressed that A, they at least looked at canon to take something to steal, but then B, fuck you, Kathleen Kennedy. You told me you didn't have source material. You did. You stole it. Yeah, there you go. Right. So here's Osha, because she's a dipshit, and apparently now she's a bad guy or something because she spent 15 minutes on this island. She puts on the helmet, and I know we're not going to run the sound, but they give us the Darth Vader breathing, like the Michael Myers breathing inside the mask. Dude, I laughed my ass off at that for a solid 5 minutes and was just like, come on.
Apparently, and it's really liked Revenge of the Sith when Vader got his helmet.
It's just stupid, right? The dude goes out of his way to say it's a sensory deprivation helmet, but I can see through it. Like you can see through eye slits. So that's
it's supposed to block the force, so it's just block.
He said sensory deprivation. I wanted him to mean that.
And the force.
Right. I wanted it to be what you said, but he didn't say that. So this is what I mean. Like in a writer's room, if the three of us were sitting there doing this thing, and the Armoress came up with that idea, hey, it needs to be a helmet that blocks out the force, but then the drawback is he can't see, he can't hear, it's all force. And then one of us would be like, that might be too much, because then he'd be tripping all over himself if he got in combat and his concentration got shook for a minute. Like, you bounce these complicated ideas off of your partners. That way they can be ironed out logically. And it's lacking here. But I thought that scene was hysterical. What did you guys each think of that scene? And then we'll jump into predictions and ratings. Just as an ending, like, what did you think?
I thought the line that they tried to use, like they were trying to, these writers were trying to make a name for themselves. Right before he walks away, he goes, "Learn to trust yourself." And I started laughing, and I'm like, that line has probably been used in like 100 other films. Like,
Yep.
it was so weak. It was so weak, and I start laughing because it was so cliche. Like I've heard it a million times, that same line, and that's the line he uses to walk away slowly with, and
that was his
I
mic drop.
was laughing at. Yeah.
I thought the only thing lamer than that would have been literally if they actually cribbed the Vader line where he's like, "Search your feelings, you know this to be true." Like, I think there would have been TVs just broken. Like, the last 1,000 people watching this show would have just been like, "No, fuck it, I'm out." King Z did a great take, Armoress, on that, because I thought that was like, I needed a fresh pair of underwear. I was pissing so hard on that. King Z, the take on the Smilo Ren Michael Myers connection there. He's pure evil.
I really didn't.
I don't know.
It's like, don't touch the red button, and then you don't push the red button. Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Pretty much what all that was. It's like, it will help you, because she had that big emotional moment where like, they threw you away. Like, they didn't throw me away.
Oh yeah,
we failed.
My bad.
And that's because she failed her trials, because she couldn't control the Force. They've hinted at that a few times in the
episode
show
1.
where episode 1, episode 3, like she has Force issues. So could have leaned on it to be able to help her control the Force of what the helmet is. But they didn't lean on that. And then, they try to go with the whole dark side, use your emotions to manipulate the Force. I mean, that's what made Vader so strong, because he has such strong emotions. So they're playing into that. And she even said that's the path to the dark side. He's like, semantics. I thought that was a pretty good line.
I thought that was okay. But see, that's exactly what I expect from this villain, because he's playing the dichotomy or the ambiguity, not the dichotomy. He's literally playing the ambiguity. Dude, you know what? Roll me back on the timeline to the scene where she finally pulls the blade on him, if you can. If you can, that's cool. Don't worry about it. So I'll set it up. They're having their second new apprentice master talk, and he's basically goading her in a way that she should have seen coming, but she doesn't. That she eventually ignites the blade and puts it up to his throat, gets him up against the wall. Right about, I saw the red. Yep, you're on it. We're good. Just frame me up with the other red, just so it looks cool.
Oh yeah, that was a Stockholm syndrome moment.
Oh, for sure, because I think he's also asking. He asked about Jackie and like what kind of life that she thought that relationship could be, like the bond with Saul, what that could have been like. So she finally freaks. But then even in this moment, King Z just ran it. Where's the expression? Like, she raises her voice a little, like with the "I failed" line, but it's deadpan the entire way through, before and after, until they cut scene. So like, there's no punch here at any shape. It just never comes across as human to me.
That goes into my other nitpick, really big nitpick in this one. Every time it looks like something profound is going to be said, something that's actually going to be said that's going to move the plot along, tell the story, something happens to interrupt them, or someone walks away conveniently, and then they get back to it, like the power coming back on in the ship when he's talking to May before he knows it's May, and it's like all of a sudden he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. Like,
yeah, he said you needed. We're finally going to tell the council everything, and the lights go on.
It's like, it's a pivotal, but it's worse than that, guys. It's a pivotal moment in the show where, like, you think you're finally going to get the fucking big reveal, right? And then what do? Like, Basil finally shows up. This dude finally shoots this chick. And then for reasons, he unhooks the modem so he can't get comms from his boss who's coming to back him up. And then he jumps off somewhere else. Where are you going? For what?
And then
you're taking it back to Witch Planet. That's what's going to happen.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, but still, like the last thing you said was you're now motivated to tell the fucking truth. You've changed your motivation within 5 fucking minutes of screen time. 5. Not a season, not 3 episodes, not a tragic loss of a spouse or a child that ruined your worldview. 5 minutes. At least he restrained her. I mean, fucking good thinking. One good move. You know?
And then he's like, I'm going to tell, he's like, I've been thinking what I'm going to say to you, and now you're going to listen to me. I think she would have listened without restraining her if you just talked to her. But we've been waiting for him to tell this story for 4 episodes now.
Dude, I've listened. Go ahead. I got one more.
Yeah, they're using this as a convention to build suspense and stuff, but it's failing because all it's doing is making it annoying. It's a failed attempt to try to build to artificially induce suspense.
It's the wrong dialogue to be having. I've waited 10 years to tell you these things should have been the crap he would have said to Osha, but couldn't because she left. What would you tell May since the last time you saw her 16 years ago? Sorry, I didn't force catch you. That's the only fucking thing you'd have to say. What else would you say besides that? Oh, hey, you killed 3 of my fucking friends. Now we're gonna grease your rat fuck son of a bitch ass. No, like we're about to reveal the truth, hang myself, and then no, we bounce at the end of the episode when my boss is showing up, who hopefully she turns on Saul, and then the twins kill her or something. I don't know. I don't care. Dude, do you guys even want to bother with predictions for 7? Because like I don't have enough information to go on at this point. Like they're clearly not going back to Coruscant to do any temple incursion shit anymore. I think he's taking her to Witch Planet, and somehow Smilo Ren's going to tell Osha she should go there and face her destiny bullshit, and that's where we're going. And then Green Chick will show up at the end of that episode because she'll figure out that's where they went. It'll take her an hour to do that. That's my prediction. Armoress, you got a prediction?
You
had something. Yeah, go.
You reminded me. It was funny with all the stuff that we talked about. The dumbest moment in this entire episode, I think, for me was Green Chick. Yes. What was the point of their maybe 3-sentence conversation between Green Chick and Weak Jedi about hyper jump sickness? What was the point of that?
Because they thought they were building character. That's literally what.
Out of nowhere, and it made no. On the ship and actually get sick or anything. It was
needed that in episode 1.
It was
needed that in episode 1.
It was like out.
That was stupid.
It just threw. It just threw. But it was like, why? What was the point of those 3 lines?
Justify the lines. It was to prove why she wouldn't have gone with them. Wouldn't have gone with them. With them because of what they believe was a sickness.
Stupid with the 2 people doing it. Maybe with the 2 people doing it. Maybe
it was part of like Jedi training. Like you got to be able to Jedi training. Like you got to be able to
the centrifuge. You sit him in the chair and you spin him.
Hey, there's always pencil pushers. Always pencil pushers.
Assistant. Dude, he's on the tech tree for administrative organization and an Outlook Explorer. I mean, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him. All right. Good for him. All right. So for next week, just for episode 7, like where do they go? 7. Like where do they go next?
I think Stockholm syndrome's going to increase.
The trigger on that. Ooh.
Now I got the song stuck in my head.
That might be. They're probably still going to tease at that, but it's going to be on. Yeah. As far as Soul. As soon as the conversation starts, it ends halfway. It ends halfway. Happen. Maybe
That's how I feel.
they're gonna gain. They're gonna gain.
All right, King Z prediction.
All right.
Prediction.
All right. So, episode 6 in an 8-episode series should be no set point going. I mean, let's take in one of our favorite Star Wars of recent. Let's take Andor. Andor had 3 different builds of 3-episode story arcs: setup, pay, fun and games, and then payoff. You had it first with you had the introduction with the flashbacks, and then you had him go off on his adventure that got him to the heist. Then you had the 3-episode build for the heist. Then you had a stop episode. Then you had the 3 episodes of him in prison. And then those 3 had one more stop episode that set off the final 2. That was your setup, your climax. That's exactly what this episode should have done. With 8 episodes, you don't have much more room to set up the climax and move into Act 3. They're so stuck in Act 2, and technically still Act 1. We're still learning who these characters are. They've never really moved out of Act 1 into Act 2, but technically during the last 2 episodes of the season, it should be a moving into Act 3, which they totally miss. If I always use wrestling, this should have been the go home show to go to the PLE. The pay-per-view PLE premium live event. So this would be the last of your normal televised episode before you go into the big match setup. And they totally just dropped the ball on that. They failed at it at a tremendous level, where Andor nailed it perfectly, because it was episode they had 12 episodes, right?
I thought they had 10.
No, they had more than that. I think it was 12 episodes. Yeah, it was 3, 1, 3.
And 2 bottles.
Yeah.
3 groups of 3 and 2 bottles. Probably, that could be.
Yeah. So the episode before the 2-episode climax, which was the daughters of Phalanx, and then you had the great kickoff at the very end with the whole birth of the rebellion, pretty much. Yeah,
that was pretty slack. You need to go back and rewatch that.
But if you go back to the episode before those 2, is when you have Salzgar's speech to his traitor inside the Empire. Asked me what I gave up. I gave up everything. And then that ended it. Unlike this one, where when we were watching, my wife saw where they had the little conversation. And he was like, and now you're going to listen to every word I have to say. And she's like, oh, I thought they were in the episode right there. But no, then they go back and have her put on the helmet, no more dialogue. And then they go to the credits. So it had nothing at the end to get you excited to move into Act 3 and see the climax. And this is where they dropped the ball so hard that if they were in the NFL, they'd be cut.
So then, prediction wise for you, are you right there with the Armoress and myself that there's just there hasn't been enough effective setup to tell us, to inform us where they're going to go next week beyond? My prediction for that is, like I said, I think they're going to go to which planet, and we're going to get the reveal. I think we're going to get the what happened via flashback. I think there's another flashback coming our way.
Flashback,
8 episodes, I think it's next week.
While they're walking through.
Oh, of course.
They're going to be walking through it, and they're going to be telling the stories they walked through that night. Yeah.
That's what I mean. We're gonna get the reveal via that mechanism in that episode for sure.
And that's how I believe episode 3 should have been told as well throughout this series. I think it made it more interesting to have them have those little moments instead of have a whole episode of nothing but flashback. That you tell these stories as you go. Like you could have opened up with her going off of Jedi Trinity. And like have a flashback of like the first time she saw her on the planet, but they didn't. They just kept it to that fight. Like there could have been something to tell you that they have a past instead of this is just someone trying to challenge a Jedi to maybe prove their steel or something. Right. Yeah, at the bar.
I think the only one thing I wanted to add to what you said about just setups and characters, and we're still finding out. We're now 6 complete episodes through this show. What more do you know about May, Osha, or Saul than you knew about them in episode 1? Not a fucking thing. The other 3 are dead. I don't care. I don't know anything else about the green chick. Don't care. Smilo Ren, I guess he's an intriguing villain. it's not because now he mentioned he was thrown away and maybe the green chick is the master that threw him away. I don't think it's Saul, because that would be another Padawan he doesn't recognize, which would be fucking stupid. So maybe it's the green chick, maybe it's nobody at all that's in the show. I don't know. But you can't care about any of the troubles these characters have, good guy or not, if you don't know anything about them when they get to this episode. By episode 6, everything should be locked in. You should just be along for the ride going after that. It's dropped the ball. Every opportunity they've dropped the ball. Do we even bother rating this out of a 10 scale, guys? Is it even worth it? Because I'm sure everybody's 2 or less. I don't know.
It's a definite prediction, though. Saul is definitely going to give out more hugs.
More. So the armor says Saul hugs. Saul weird, grabby, cringy hugs coming your way. Okay, so we're just going to give you an arbitrary 2. King Z, give me a number.
A number.
And the Armoress can do a number after. I was just kidding. She, of course, gets a number.
Trying to think of a really smart number that would equivalent to 2. If you don't to do all the powers, put a math equation in there, because I think that'd be more interesting than actually just rating this, because it wasn't interesting enough to watch.
Okay, everybody, that's a 2 from everybody at Winter Wolfstand. We appreciate everybody coming tonight because it's fucking all. I'm just kidding, dude. You can dude, give a number if you don't. That's fine. It's just bad. I don't care what the number is.
Bad.
It's just bad.
There's just bad. It's a drop the ball. I mean, okay, I give it a number. I would say it's later 23. That's LeBron, and LeBron's trash.
Yeah, LeBron is trash. Armoress, do you got a number? Or do you just want to join on the bad bandwagon and call it? Because it's getting late. What do you want to do?
I think it's going to be 1 Basil kick.
Okay, 1,000. Wait, that was 1,000 Basil kicks. Okay, so if you were Basil, I guess that's pretty bad. So that equates to about a 2 or a bad. Did I hate this show? It's as bad as I thought it was going to be going in, and I tried open-minding this bitch. They've done this to themselves. King Z, you want to do the like and subscribe speech and end the recording so we can all go do better stuff? I hate this show.
All right, everybody. If you actually stayed this long while we went over a show, I think our show went longer than this show did. So that's kind of impressive for you to stay around. Thank you. We do appreciate it. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up, because it helps us in the algorithm and gets this out to other people so they can also bash the show in our comments, which I really hope you do. Remember the questions I've asked. What's your top 5 saber battles, and who do you believe Smilo Ren really is in Star Wars canon? Also, hit that, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, you stuck around this long, might as well get the rest of our content. Hit that notification bell to know when all our new content drops, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.